This week on Pop Fiction, Pulp Fiction, Spidey, Jokers, bank robbers, and much, much more.
Okay, this is 252 Pop Fiction, where you'll find all the news and reviews in pop culture that's right to type. Today's top story. Joe Gatto, a founding member of the Tenderloins and star of True TV's prank show Impractical Jokers. I
don't know any of what you just said.
I watch Impractical Jokers. It's funny.
Yes, right? It's funny.
Is it?
Well, he's announced his departure from the group.
Wow.
Gatto announced the news, explaining that he and his wife had divorced, and he wants to, kind of stay home and focus on co-parenting with the children.
That's a bitch move. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Good on him.
I don't know, man. I don't. You're still worth the money you're making, even if you're not making the money. So that co-parenting, that bill's still gonna be a bitch.
Oh yeah, that's real.
Yeah, that's real. You might want to get a job.
Well, you mean love won't find a way?
No,
It never does.
It never does.
It never does. Oh my God. I wish I could love my bills away. Authorities were looking for a guy who robbed a bank in Northern California.
How do you do that?
In Northern California on New Year's Eve.
He has much love.
Yes. The suspect walked out of the West America branch in Gurneyville with an undisclosed amount of money after passing a letter to a teller. What do you think that letter said?
I don't know. But see, the reason why I put this in here, because, we're talking about Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
And he robbed the bank, but it's back saying the phone. Who knows if there's a real girl?
Yeah. It doesn't even matter. He robbed the bank with a cellular phone. That's pretty good.
Know.
You had the idea to take the wallets. That was a good idea.
A lot of wallets.
Got a lot more on the wallets than we did from the teller.
I love you, honey bunny.
Despite Miramax's lawsuit, Quentin Tarantino is moving on with plans to auction off his original handwritten Pulp Fiction scripts as NFTs.
So, NFT, that stands for I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, so I actually had a guy explain this to me in detail. I am sorry that I cannot remember a word that he said. But what I do know is that they are giving if they're taking an image and they're putting a value on that image.
Right.
And if somebody is willing to pay that value of that image now becomes worth that much money.
Yeah, so that's dumb as fuck. You can put any value on anything and just say it's worth that.
You can put any value on anything and say it's worth that.
Nah, man. I need a price guide for comic books to tell me what the value of something is. I need a price guide for this shit.
Price guide for Quentin Tarantino scripts.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a pretty... The thing is, when it comes to Pulp Fiction, I don't need the script. I've memorized it.
I'm saying. I don't
the whole thing.
Nothing.
Any of you fucking pigs move.
And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you.
We got a hero here, honey bunny. Shoot him in the face.
There you go.
Okay.
Vincent, you ain't gonna do a goddamn motherfucking thing. Shut the fuck up.
Jules, if you give us this fucking Nimrod $1,500, I'm gonna shoot him on general principle.
So what, you're just gonna walk the earth?
Yeah, you're gonna be a fucking...
Okay, all right, this is
all right, you know what, we can do this all day.
We're probably gonna have to edit all that out.
Yeah.
But, that being said, this week's review, Spider-Man No Way Home. And before I get into this, I would have to say that we did get a...
Spoilers!
We got marching orders that came from up top says we will not. And it's going to be very... It's going to be... It is going to be a test of one's loyalty to see if I can say how much I love this movie without spoiling it.
Let's spoil it. He'll cut it out.
All right. Spider-Man No Way Home. Our friendly neighborhood web slinger is no longer able to separate his daily existence as Peter Parker from the high stakes of being a superhero. Thanks to the exposure of Spider-Man's identity being revealed from the last movie
by J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, and Mysterio. Mysterio was right.
Mysterio.
When Peter seeks Doctor Strange's assistant, the stakes rise even higher, forcing him to discover what it means to be Spider-Man.
Yeah,
so,
you would know.
With that, I'm going to say, I would say this is more than just the third movie in the series. With this movie, at the end of this movie, you kind of just feel like the three movies together was the Tom Holland Spider-Man origin story.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah. That's kind of what it boils down to. With the oh boy, so we're not spoiling it.
So we're not going to spoil it. Okay, so but I can say this. I saw it. I took Simply Angela with me. At the boys, we were all there in a row, lined up, watching the movie, and I kid you not once, not twice, but thrice classes. I cried
3 times.
I cried. You guys, I cried 3 times.
A napkin, girl. Give me a napkin.
If you saw Terms of Endearment, you would explode.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I'm a man, JB. I'm a manly man. And I don't cry at the movie theaters. But this one here, this one right here, I was like, it's wonderfully done, wonderfully acted. You forget how good Marissa Tomei is until she gives you something, and she took a small thing, a small scene, and it stayed with you. Tom Holland, the feelings that he emotes. Like
that man has made me cry twice in the theater, man.
Twice.
2 times. Yeah, Endgame.
And I'm just gonna say,
Wept about it.
With the whole cast from Zendaya, Cumberbatch. I mean, everyone. There was no just people in the movie to be in the movie. That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Everyone had a part, and I hate to push somebody down to raise somebody up, but this is the reason why DC will never ever
DC movies.
Because DC movies, not comic books, but the movies that they put, you don't feel that sense of emotion. You don't feel that sense of connection to the characters. Now you can say when Endgame came around in the MCU, it was 10 years of watching these movies, and if you were on the ride the whole way through, that's why you felt it. But Tom Holland, he ain't been Spider-Man for 10 years.
I'm saying.
And with all the other things that they had going on, they was pulling on the old heartstrings.
Well, Wonder Woman pulled on the heartstrings when he gave her the watch and said, you could be the future, but I can be today. I can save the day. And he ran off. And that was sad.
You said Wonder Woman?
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
I don't remember that.
What was that? Wonder Woman 84?
No.
Oh, you're talking about the good Wonder Woman.
Yeah, the good one.
Okay, I'm talking about the Wonder Woman. All right, the one that came out in 2021?
Yeah, when he died. When he died.
Spoiler alert.
That movie's been out for 10,000 years.
Yeah,
King Tut has seen Wonder Woman.
Yeah, so
Wonder Woman was good.
It was decent. It was okay. Yeah, but
Wonder Woman 84, not good.
No, I didn't like
I saw it twice too.
Though the choice that Maxwell Lord made for his wish was inspired. I thought that was one of the most clever things.
That's the one.
He wanted to be the thing, and he turned into the thing.
No, he wanted the power to grant wishes as opposed to getting his wish granted. That was inspired. I thought
he turned into the totem. Well, I think I saw a different movie.
I don't know.
I want to be the artifact.
Make me a sandwich. Anyway, Spider-Man No Way Home was great. All the things that they threw at us were wonderful. And
I would have to say I was in a very, very Spider-Man friendly theater. So all the big pops that were supposed to be applause worthy, everyone clapped.
It was a good movie.
Everyone laughed when they were supposed to laugh. I will say there's this one scene, and I'm not going to say everything that was in the scene, but when Ned was at his grandma's house, I really like the fact that they didn't put subtitles when she was speaking Tagalog, because they were obviously Filipino people in the theater that I was in, because when she was talking, they were already laughing before Ned did the translation.
Right.
And I could tell Ned's translation wasn't the full thing, in which I think she said more. Get your...
Well, check this out. I've seen it twice. First time in the theater was a few days after it had opened, but it was a raucous theater. I mean, everybody was laughing at the right laugh parts, crying at the right cry parts, and just amazed at the amazing parts. The second time I saw
You're amazing. You're amazing. I see what you did there. You're amazing.
Thank you.
No, you're amazing.
However, the second time I saw it, probably a week and a half after that, there was a lot of young kids in the theater. They were with some parents who just brought them in because my kid needs to see Spider-Man. And it wasn't as, amped up and poppy as the first time I went to see it.
Well, I can say this, and I don't want to harp on this too long, no pun intended. But we had addressed before, like when a lot of the movies were just streaming at home and you would watch it, there is a different experience seeing something in the theater.
Oh, for sure.
Like when you go to a theater with like-minded people, it will make something that you're watching. Again, going back to Endgame, man, I remember it was you could hear a pin drop when after Tony did his snap, the Iron Man did his snap, and when you realized what was happening, it took one person in the theater to go, and then next you know, it was just an avalanche.
I get goosebumps just thinking Cap on your left. I was shit.
That was the Hulk snap. Hulk snap brought people back from the blip.
No. Yeah,
his snap
that's
killed
true.
Thanos and his army.
No. We got that. Where he's talking about when Cap was like fighting and Thor was down, Iron Man was down.
Yeah.
He didn't know where anybody else was because the building got bombed. And you see all the hordes of Thanos' armies.
They're about to win.
He just took the strap on his shield and tightened it up.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I'm going to fight you one deep then.
Yeah.
And then he was like, Cap, you hear me? It's Sam on your left. And then you see the circles coming out. You see Black Panther. I'm getting the goosebumps right now.
I know, just thinking about it.
And then
I love watching the fan reaction to those things because it's just amazing just seeing the crowd cheer.
And I get excited every time. And again, this is why DC
Has there been a crowd rocking moment in a DC movie?
Superman.
Are you talking about 1977?
Yes.
Well,
Okay, yes.
recently.
People went berserk when they first saw him flying
right.
through the
You're
air.
right.
That's the first
I
superhero
believed a
movie
man could fly.
I ever seen.
JB remembers
cheer.
1977.
Oh, my
What happened?
No, JB remembers this week.
Oh.
Spuds MacKenzie.
Oh,
Hey!
yeah.
Remember Spuds?
Of course.
Spuds
I-
MacKenzie.
I wish
was-
Frank was on this episode.
Spuds MacKenzie was a bull terrier and actually a female named Honey Tree Evil Eye.
I did not know that.
They called her Evie.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in 1993, she did die of kidney failure, but before she did, she made a big splash in Super Bowl 21 as a commercial in 1987 promoting Budweiser.
Yes.
It was a huge phenomenon. All these senators and politicians got on board to shut down Spuds MacKenzie because they said they were marketing directly to teenagers.
And I remember we could not wear Spuds
MacKenzie
MacKenzie
shirts
at school.
And I don't know where I got it, but I got a Spuds MacKenzie shirt just because of that.
Yeah.
Put it on, didn't have it on 10 minutes before I ran right into Mr. Anderson. He was like, take it off.
Mr. Anderson. That's what you were going to. I was trying to remember what you were going to. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, he took his shirt off. He did give it back to me at the end of the day and said, don't wear it again, which translates in my mind to don't get caught again.
There you go.
That's what don't do it again.
Now,
Sounds like to
Not
teenager.
only do I remember that whole thing, but every now and then we have this employee appreciation gift shop at the job. Every now and then when it's open, because they'll open it like once or twice a month, and then you can go in there and get a bunch of stuff. And it's basically we're buying it, but they give us beer, and some of us accrue so much beer, they allow us to use our beer for merchandise.
Yeah.
And every now and then, there's a box that comes from Indochina somewhere, and a bunch of mixed mediums and largest Spuds MacKenzie.
oh yeah. Hey,
And
grab me a medium.
You know
next
the
time.
one with him on the surfboard?
surfboard?
Yes.
Yeah.
A bunch of mediums.
Hey,
Why are you
get me
bringing this
one.
to our attention now?
Well, you just did the JB Remember. It made me remember that
We should be wearing these shirts.
We
right
were
now.
maybe 3 with the midriff show.
Now, in the Fairfield Daily Republic, I believe there's a picture of Frank G, possibly on the front, wearing a shirt in 1990. during the Spuds MacKenzie protests at Fairfield High. The Spuds MacKenzie protest. It sounds like something they said in Demolition Man. Remember the Spuds MacKenzie protests, 1990.
He doesn't know what to do with the 3 seashells.
That was a good movie.
It was not good, but I loved it.
Hey, a fun movie is still a good movie.
Yeah.
As long as you are entertained.
Illuminate. Deluminate.
This week, Ralphie D recommends Matrix.
Resurrection.
You can't be recommending that movie.
Well, I like garbage, and this movie is trash.
It's not trash.
It's certified basura.
It is horrible.
Okay. All right, well,
Return to a world of two realities. One, everyday life. The other, what lies behind it. To find out what reality is.
Turns out it's a bunch of people explaining the movie for an hour and then finally showing a little bit of a movie.
Mr. Anderson.
And not only that, but don't forget there was.
Ever heard of a montage?
I'm saying if you didn't remember anything from the first 3 Matrix movies,
They covered in great detail.
They actually
They
spliced
had clips from the movie in the movie.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
That almost reminded me of Kickboxer 4: The Annihilation,
With Sasha Mitchell.
With the first 25 minutes, it was telling you what happened in Kickboxers 1, 2, and 3.
That was amazing.
You actually watched Kickboxer?
Man, we
4?
watched it, man.
We loved that.
I'm glad I missed that day.
It was awful.
Well, the director of this movie was Lana Wachowski, and the writer also Lana Wachowski and David Mitchell. And it stars Keanu Reeves, of course, Carrie-Anne Moss, of course, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
I'm going to go ahead and say, even though, like, the last Matrix movie, the whole line got really convoluted. But what I will say is the performances that they got from their actors,
this movie?
Yeah. I felt like Carrie-Anne Moss was still like...
Yeah, she was fine.
She was good.
Our leads
Keanu
were good.
Was good, yeah. Yahya
Fishburne was great.
After seeing the movie, I have no doubt in my mind why all the actors from the previous Matrices, except 2, turned down this project.
So I heard
bad.
different
You
stuff.
read that script, you're gonna have to go into the suicide ward.
There were certain things about it, but what I did like when it got so meta. Because at one point, I don't want to spoil anything, but at one point, I was at one point when they were talking. I don't know, we can't do this. Who is that? They were like, what? It's like Warner Brothers is gonna care, and it's funny because it was like
and if it would have stayed that meta and just been poking fun at itself, I'd have been fine. But it was too self-serious, and it was just awful nonsense, gibberish, bullshit.
Now, I would have to say when it came down to the quote unquote bad guys in the movie, they were the most unbelievable characters in the whole thing. I didn't believe dude as Agent Smith and the other.
I love NPH, and NPH was.
But here's the thing.
Awful.
What's up with Hugo Weaving, where he's just like, I will never go back to any franchise that I've ever been.
Actor.
I'm like, I don't care how many of those movies. I'm not going back.
Not a franchise guy.
I'm not. Even though I am, but I'm not going back.
You could put a picture of me up in it and pay me for it, but I'm not going
I'm not doing that. Whatever he's like, I'm not doing that. But I'd have to say, it was interesting. It was the bad Nairobi makeup threw me out.
Oh yeah,
because you know what? I'm just like this. Like the thing is, Jada Pinkett she's a gorgeous woman still. Like she's older, she's in her 50s, but you know what? She still looks good. Mm-hmm. Like when you just look at her normally, she still looks like. So you might as well, just like Angela Bassett. They gave her the gray dreads and was like, yeah, you still look like you, we ain't going to make you look
Which I'm tired
older.
of people doing. Stop giving black women the goddamn gray dreads. When you get older, your hair doesn't get thicker and bigger. That's bullshit.
Not true. I'm definitely...
If it's a weave or what have you,
I'm talking about her hair. He's doing his own thing.
Okay.
We have to shear her down like...
Lord have
This
mercy.
is what happens when we're away for a while. We have a 30-minute
we have a 30-minute podcast with 8 minutes of
actual
usable content.
30 minutes of hair.
Yeah. It was terrible. Lambert Wilson was in this. He was the Merovingian from the third one.
Yes.
And he was in some awful makeup. I mean, it was just bad through and through. I hate to bash it. Maybe it wasn't for me.
Maybe it wasn't for its target audience, which is people that could see. It just wasn't for them.
Well, I'm glad you recommended it this week. So I'm cool on it, Kurt. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I hate myself, and I hate my audience, so watch it. We'd like to hear what you think. Leave us a comment down below and let your opinion be heard.
And if you like this video, and I honestly don't see how anybody does. That's why we have the viewership that we do.
Yeah.
But for those 12 dedicated people that watch every
We appreciate you.
we appreciate you, son. So go ahead and watch Get in the Character 252.
I'm JB. I'd like to give a shout out to my man AM at Comic Safari. Like him, follow him, subscribe. And this is what?
Sound like you were running out of gas.
I was saying it too fast, man. I ran out of breath.
All right, you can
Comic
take
Safari. And this is, you know what show this is. Do the dum-dum-dum thing.
First! This is what happens.
Okay.
Sell it! Sell it!
Adonis, pull yourself together.